We're back to make fun of the Cleveland Browns as we're on Shedeur Sanders Watch, Todd Monken Watch. Is Deshaun Watson really back? Watch. And then also Joe Thomas Watch. I don't know what he's going to say here, so this is going to be a true live reaction outside of what's saying here. But he's in on Deshaun Watson over Shedeur Sanders, and we're looking to see if this is the antics that the media is usually trying to pull over our eyes, and let's see.
From a player standpoint, you want the best guy in that moment. Whether you're an offensive lineman, you want the guy who understands the defense. He can see the defense. He knows where he's supposed to be. He knows his reads. He's calling out the audibles. He can see the defense. He's calling out the protections because that helps me and it unlocks me to be able to do my job. And I think Shedeur is going to get there, but for Deshaun, he's probably going to be more ready at the beginning of the season. So I was in support, at least at the beginning of training camp, make him the starter.
You don't know. You said probablys and maybes in there. You don't know. That's the thing about that. So why talk in absolutes and just let it play out in a battle? Like, objectively, you're talking to Deshaun, sure, more experience, but also experience being bad on the field for multiple years in a Browns uniform. He's had his run. He's lucky to get a quarterback battle right now. He's lucky to get it. Like, he should be taking advantage, working out the facility and everything else. He's lucky to get a quarterback battle right now. They could be just going with the young guy because they got him for next year. They won some games with him. They could have looked at him in that aspect and kept rolling with it. He's lucky to have a quarterback battle right now. But to just say, just make him the starter right away, like, what has Deshaun proven since 2020 to be the starter? Like, what has he proven to earn that? Like, he's got experience. A lot of quarterbacks on the waiver wire has experience. So what? It doesn't matter. Like, we have a young quarterback here with upside here that we're trying to develop as well. And we got to see what we got. We have an older quarterback here that had some issues, that had some injury issues. We're going to see if we can revive him, but if we can't, then we have to see what we can develop out of a young quarterback. That's it. That's it. That's what's going through their head. That is what they're thinking. But to just call it dead and done before training camp, especially when we had what we had in minicamp and OTAs, where it's tight, it's getting tighter. Mary Kay having to retract her statement. She didn't retract it. But having to, like, go back and saying it's a tight battle like we've called out, but not retracting because that's Mary Kay. Like, you have to go into training camp with this being a tight battle.
Allow everybody to get comfortable there. And I think there's an important point that, the Browns aren't going to say, but at some point we assume there will probably be a quarterback change. If they would have started with Shedeur, nobody wants to see them make a change. But at some point, if things aren't going well at that quarterback position, you have to make that change and try to provide that spark. You want to see them making the change to the.
It doesn't matter when they keep talking about making the change. Whatever happens, happens at that point of the season. Whatever happens, happens. But right now, we're in the training camp phase, and you got a quarterback battle. It's whatever happens, happens here in July and August. It's whatever happens, happens. That's the thing about that. But we're talking about changes going forward. It's not really that relevant until we get into the season, because all you know is that starting quarterback gets it first. All they got to do is hand it off to Judkins, and Judkins runs rampant, top 5 running back in the league. The offensive line's hitting, and all that quarterback's got to do is make 1 or 2 throws a game. Like, it doesn't matter. We got to know what happens in training camp. Like, we keep talking about this theory, like, oh, we'll go Watson and then go Shedeur. If you're already thinking about that, why not just start Shedeur? If you're already thinking about why not just start Shedeur, that's where the holes come into theory. Like, if you already got that in your mind, why not just start him? Like, why not just do that? That's where the holes come in. And I'm not even saying give him the job. Damn it. Just let him battle for it. Let him have his quarterback battle. He got his ass kicked last year in some of these games behind that bad offensive line. He gutted it out for that. He said some stuff prior. I don't know what he said. Let's see. Let's see what he said.
It seems like Deshaun Watson is probably going to be the guy going into training camp as the starter. He looks pretty healthy coming off that Achilles tear that he had. And I think the experience that he has playing football, the arm looks like it's still there. The legs look like they've come back. And that's one thing Shedeur doesn't exactly bring you right now, is the ability to scramble. He's not exceptional at using his legs to get a first down.
Did you watch the games at all? Did you watch that at all? What? Did you watch? He was a magician on a few of those getting pressured and sacked. Like, he had to scramble because he was getting ransacked. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Did you watch the games at all? He was avoiding pressure very well. That was one thing that he was progressing at, dealing with the pressure, stepping up in that pocket. And there were times where he would hold on to it, but he's like working on holding on to it, waiting for somebody to get open. There were plays where you're like, how the hell did he not get sacked? He scrambled out of it. Like, did you not watch? Like, how are you talking and you did not watch that? Like, people don't watch him. People didn't watch the games. Like, how do you say that? Like, no, he's not Michael Vick. He's not Michael Vick. Okay, he can still move. Did you watch him at Jackson State? Like, just pop in a highlight. You don't even have to watch him at Jackson State. Like, what? You just pop in a highlight. Jackie's got stuff on him working out. Let's just go through it. Let's just go live. Here it is. There's Shedeur running. There's Shedeur running. Like, he's working on his mobility. When we see Deshaun working on his mobility, it's just jogging. It's slow. It's not there. He's not going full bore. He's working on his run. He's got multiple clips working on running. Outside, in the heat, working on sprints, working on his mobility. You're less likely to make mistakes when you're tired. So you're going to work on that gas tank. You're less likely to make mistakes when you're tired. So you're going to work on your wind sprints. You're going to get that air up. You're going to work on your air supply. You're less likely to do that. You're putting in the work. And he's got the helmet on, too. And you're trying to tell me he ain't putting in the work. Michael Florio. You're trying to say because Deshaun Watson, I don't know what he says here. I ain't going to lie. I don't know what he says here. I just know it's Florio, and I know what he's talking about with this. Deshaun Watson's return to the facility ahead of training camp is one of the little things that will show his commitment to winning the job. Let's see.
How do I win that competition? How do I convince the Browns coaching staff, if I'm Deshaun Watson or Shedeur Sanders, to pick me? How do I best position myself? It's beyond the fact that, he's there to work out and help himself get better. That stuff gets noticed. And that becomes a factor when the competition starts.
Okay. Now, another way to parallel off of that, I said it yesterday, to go back to the facility means that, and you're feeling the way he's saying, like, hey, let's get noticed here because we're getting pressed. We're getting pressed in this quarterback battle. This battle's getting tight. Getting kind of worried about this quarterback battle. Let's just make sure we're up there in Berea, that they're seeing us. We got to make sure we're there, that we're present, and our presence is felt. We have to make sure that's happening. That's a clue that the race is getting tighter. That is what I'm reading. And it does not matter where you're working out at. Sure, it was great Shedeur was there. It still didn't matter. It's all about the results, especially for the coaches. And I loved it. It is not mattering until what the results the coaches say and how they react to and how they pick. What I think doesn't matter. But reading the dots here, if Deshaun thinks he had it hand over fist, Italy, he'd be out there doing something. He'd be working out still, but he'd be doing more of what he wanted. Nobody wants to be in Berea. Nobody wants to be up there in Cleveland. No one wants to be there when you can be everywhere else. Nobody wants that. He's up there because he's worried. That's the thing. That tells you this battle's tight. That's another clue. Piggybacking off what he just said. Let's see.
Because week in and week out, if you're the starting quarterback, you want to see the commitment. The Tuesday commitment, the off-day commitment. Are you down at Barnes & Noble looking for books? Or are you in the building, working, contributing to the game plan?
I will definitely say this, like I said before, being there might matter to some degree, but ultimately it only matters to the quarterback battle and who wins it. To this point, like, Monken knows Shedeur's working out. I'm sure they're touching base a good bit, and I'm sure they're in and out and everything else. I'm sure Monken's in and out. They're all doing their thing. They're all doing what they need to do. They're with their people. They're getting their coaching in, and it's just how the game is. That's just how it is. And it's no big deal that Watson's in Berea right now, throwing the ball around, throwing the rock around at the facility. He's probably throwing it all over the place. He's probably going back to this place and throwing it. He's probably going back to that place and throwing it. He's probably going over here and throwing it and working out. He's probably meeting up with these people and working out. He's probably working out with these players over here. He's probably having a meeting with these coaches over here, trying to get something fine-tuned. Same thing with Shedeur. He's working out with different people, different coaches, people coming in and out, everything else. Like, it's not going to be all the same. I wouldn't be surprised if we catch some highlights of Shedeur back there before we get to camp. And it's like, oh, and then the media goes all over it. Like, it's just how it is. Like, it ain't that big a deal. It's not like he's living up there, and if he was, what difference would it be if he comes out and lays an egg in training camp? Like, is that going to help him? Or if it's even Steven, because we know the young guy going forward, the guy who has the buzz around him, and then on top of that, the front office once is probably going to get the nod. The tie's going to go to him. Deshaun Watson knows that. Even more, he needs to be up there. So his ass needs to be up there. He needs to be doing something more than what he's doing. That's a clue. This race is tight.
Are you working on your body out at some other facility like Patrick Mahomes does? We know that from the quarterback series that he was featured in. We also know about Barnes & Noble from that series. So, look, it doesn't have to be a cynical view, a tactical maneuver. Let's just see who shows up. But I think it's relevant. Tom Brady has said when he was playing, if you want to beat me, you got to be willing to give up your life because I am. Well, if you want to beat Shedeur Sanders and you're Deshaun Watson, what do you do? If you want to beat Deshaun Watson and you're Shedeur Sanders, what do you do? And I know that they say all the right things about being teammates, but there's only one quarterback.
I don't think he really knows what's going on between these two. I don't think he just really knows. I think he just saw the clips and the highlights and he's just talking in circles. And it would be the default concept to say, hey, this guy's at the facility, he's working out, and the other guy's not. I think that's just a default, but he's just talking in circles. I don't think he really knows. He's not coming in with anything slanderous, but he's also just, like, doesn't have more than just the default information here. And honestly, whenever we see the clips of Deshaun working out there, it ain't anything glorious. It ain't anything that's close to a Rocky IV montage. Like, I don't see anything to sweat over if you want Shedeur to win. I don't see anything that's getting you over the moon if you want Deshaun to win. Outside, he's there, and maybe there's a look that he's there. But honestly, it's who wins it in training camp. It's who comes in, starts training camp hot, and keeps it, or who doesn't, gets flustered in the joint practices, or we start doing 11 versus 11, 7 versus 7s, and bam, one of you guys fall off for 2 practices. All it takes is 1 or 2 practices, and this quarterback competition is flipped. All it takes is 1 or 2. That's it. That's how tight this might be. It might get. And it is. Like, all it takes is like 1 or 2 bad practices, and it's like that. That's where we're at right now. That is where we're at. Being at the facility is not a bad thing. It is definitely not a bad thing. But again, it doesn't answer anything.
You got to view it as a competition that you intend to win.
I mean, he's running. He's out running. He's got more than this out there, too. Like, he's been out there. Like, he's not hard to find. He's not going to post it with perfect conditions and everything else, with a funky song, with some background music to give you some intentions of what he's saying. He's just going to work out, and it is what it is. Like, he's working out. Working out's working out. Whether I lift weights in Berea or lift weights here in Washington Courthouse, Ohio, 225 is going to be 225. 40-yard sprint is going to be a 40-yard sprint. That's what it's going to be. Like, there's not going to be any difference to that. It ain't changing anything with the location and the zip code. It's just not changing that. Moving on here. We got the Dogs, Cleveland Browns podcast. We've listened to them before on here. Do you agree that Shedeur Sanders is the only QB on the roster that makes sense to play in 2026? If you're just looking at it from a reasonable standpoint, he's literally the only guy that even makes sense. Let's just see what they got to say here.
Shedeur Sanders.
Thank you. What's the benefit long term for seeing any Deshaun Watson on the field? It doesn't make any sense.
And Zach Jackson has put this out there. He's like, guys, Deshaun does not look that good. There's a couple highlight throws here and there, but overall, he looks like the same dude who can't throw, isn't athletic. It's all the same stuff that we've seen in every single mini camp so far. And he's called it ever since the guy got here. He's just been blunt. He doesn't sugarcoat it.
You need to listen to that. He's not right all the time. Jackson's not right all the time, but you need to listen to that. And we've saw that on the highlight clips. He's putting the ball on the ground. He's made some really bad picks. When he takes off with it, it ain't nothing great. We're seeing him in the workout clips. There ain't nothing being pushed there. Like, what's going to happen when the pads come on? What's going to happen when things take it up a notch?
He just tells you what he sees. So I don't think like Deshaun is just magically going to turn back the clock to 2020 or whatever it was. Even if you don't think Shedeur can be the guy, even if you don't like him, he's literally the only person on the roster that makes sense to play at quarterback this year.
If you don't like Shedeur and he starts and you can root against him, and if you're right, you're moving forward to your next quarterback. You're going to find your franchise quarterback in the draft. If you like Shedeur and he starts and plays well, that's your franchise. But to go completely 100% against him at this route, like, you may just go 50-50 here. Deshaun doesn't sign with you again. Now you're forced to go Shedeur or what off the waiver wire or the QB 6, 7 or what so in the draft. Maybe barely miss out winning the division. Not make the playoffs. Like, what if that happens? And you rock Deshaun this time. Deshaun's like, see ya, I'm signing with the Steelers. That's in the realm of possibilities, too. That's in there. And you're like, oh, this was, like, just as bad, but we won more games. Once you get to the end of the season, you're going to be opening Christmas presents. So, like, I really wish I knew what we had in Shedeur Sanders. I really wish we knew. We're not even in motion to be able to draft a quarterback. We're going to draft, like, the 7th one. Are we going to take Sorsby in the 7th round? What are we going to do going forward? You're going to have all these questions. You're going to have this circling in your head instead of just not knowing when you're opening your Christmas presents, yay or nay, and just rip the Band-Aid off.
Yes.
I don't anticipate the Browns winning a ton of games whether he plays or he doesn't play, but the sole purpose of this season should pretty much be to see if he is a good enough quarterback to be your quarterback the next year, so you can know what to do with your first round picks. It's just, it's literally the only sense. You're going to trade the guy and roll into a season with Deshaun Watson, Dylan Gabriel, and then
I don't think they're going to trade him. I think that'd be too stupid to trade him. I don't think they're going to trade him unless they catch a Godfather offer. If they catch a Godfather offer, they may move. They might move, but again, that's a deal you can't refuse. So it's going to take a deal you can't refuse, and it's going to be more than what people are projecting, and it's going to make you scratch your head. It's going to be a Godfather offer, so he's going to be on this roster. They're not going to trade him away. It's going to be for an increase of significantly of what they drafted him for, more than that 5th if they do. He ain't moving. He ain't going anywhere.
And possibly Taylon Green.
It's crazy, bro. It's crazy, crazy.
It literally makes zero sense. Whether you think Shedeur is the guy, if you're one of these people who he can do no wrong, or you think he's awful and doesn't even belong on a team. If you're just looking at it from like a reasoning standpoint, he's literally the only guy that even makes sense to play.
Yeah. Whether you're here or here, like, it still just makes sense. Like, if you're here and you think he can't play in the league, here's your modicum to your next franchise quarterback through the draft then. If you think he's here and you like him, then you think he's going to be your franchise. If he's somewhere in the middle and wins you too many games to get to your quarterback, he's probably your franchise quarterback because you got young wide receivers ramping up. You got an offensive line ramping up. You got a coaching staff ramping up. He's a young player. He's ramping up. Like, there's a chance. Let him sink or swim. Give him the chance for that. He's putting in the work. He won games last year. He took the beating last year to earn this spot. If he wins this job or it's close, just let it ride. Just let it ride out. I'm not saying hand it to him. Let him get through this gatekeeper. All Deshaun Watson right now is a gatekeeper. That's all he is right now. And that's all we're hearing right now. He's putting the ball on the turf. He's throwing picks. He ain't looking good. He ain't looking athletic. He ain't looking like he's back. Deshaun Watson's got to step it up. Deshaun Watson's worried. From what we're hearing from this guy and Mary Kay, as they're excited that he's at the facility, that's telling me that he's worried because it's close. You're looking at that. He's working out. He's working on the mobility. He's going to be taking off with it. I'm Todd Monk, and I'm going to tell you one thing. We're going to do some RPOs, and our quarterback's going to run with it. I want to be able to get that short yardage. Quinshawn or Shedeur, who you going to key on? Quinshawn or Watkins, who you going to key on in that moment? You don't think we're going to do it? We're going to do it. I'm going to pretend I'm going to have Lamar Jackson a few times a game. I'm going to pretend he's still there. I don't care. What do I like about my quarterbacks? I like mobility, and I like to be able to make big plays downfield. You better be working on your mobility and being able to make big plays downfield. So when you look at this battle here, if it's close, it's super tight to where you got to scratch your head and you got sweats at night on which quarterback to pick, I think your answer is probably already going to be made because you're looking for the future, not the right now. But if one wins it, and it's point blank, then it is what it is. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I want to hear about that. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out. Well, if you watch, catch the next video.